Well, hello friends, and welcome back to the cabin. You know, it's been some time since I did any videoing inside here, but I'll tell you what, I have just been working on project after project, and it hasn't been this cabin, it's been something else. So it's high time that we go ahead and start finishing the cabin out here, especially since we're going to start trying to hook up the solar. All of these ends have to be cleared right here, so we're going to go ahead and get started on this today. Well, I found the lid to this can to be the size of the outside diameter of that pipe. So what I'm going to do is just take my pencil. It has to go right like that. So what we're going to do is, you have to stay on the inside of the line, but we're going to use this as a template. And I think I'm getting close to feeding the wire through here. It goes outside. Alright, I found out where I ran my horizontal studs back there, and I'm just getting this kind of tacked up on that one. There, we'll kind of put that right about there, I guess. That's tight. Alright, we're going to try to make sure this thing is leveled up when I put these screws in there, which alright, that'll hold. This will be so nice to get all this finally complete in here, because I spend most of my time, like I said, working on one of the projects outside. Well, I think this is kind of how I'm going to do this. These wires, I'm going to run them over here and pull them in on this side. I got a few right here that will go in on the bottom. Then this power, it will actually come over here and tie in. This is the distribution side primarily. This is the incoming side. And I have to get, for these little knockouts, I have to get those pieces that go in there to kind of protect the edge of the wire so it doesn't cut into it. So I'm going to have to get those before I can actually start stripping these back, bring them in and tying them down. But at least I've got that portion done. I've got the power feed in, and I can probably pull it back that direction a little bit, because actually the other day we pulled it in this direction. These 5 wires right here are what run my lights that I have currently, which are the ceiling fans. So once I get those little pieces that goes in the knockout, I can actually staple that wire up. I can go ahead and put this bottom piece on where all that can be trimmed out. I've got, like I said, I think there's 36 outlets in here that I'm going to have to put receptacles on, but we're getting closer. We'll get some of this homemade soup that Jennifer made, because I'm getting a little bit hungry. I believe that's about done. I'm going to go ahead and eat this soup, and I think I might get outside and see if I could do a little grounding on the solar panels. That's good stuff. What I'm doing is I'm making my own weatherhead. They wanted too much money. They wanted like $16 a piece, and I would have needed 2 of them, where this, I bought 2 sets of these right here. It cost me $12. So I'm getting ready to pop this back off. I think that's the way I'm going to mount it, right there like that. I'm not going to glue this piece, just in case I ever need to take that off. I am going to glue in here. And I think like something like, turn it down just a little bit. Yeah, like that. And I'll just seat that back down on there like that. I'll come down here and touch that up with some paint. I'll go ahead and tighten these back up. What I'm doing here is I'm sliding on all of these little, I guess you would call them lugs, because once I lay it up there, then I can run it over to where it needs to be positioned with the hole, and hopefully just turn it a little bit and get that screw up in there. So I have got 1, 2, 3, this will make 4 sets. We've got to put 8 sets on each one of them. Well, this right here is the last set that's going on there, so we can take this down there and kind of see how it's going to work. Alright, what I'm doing is tightening this up right here, number 8 to the number 6. I think that's where I'm going to rotate, so I'm going to double it. Okay, I'm going to give it a little bit of slack right here. Like that. Well, friends, I have an electrician, a friend of mine, who's coming up here to help me wire this in. I did spend a little bit of time tacking up these wires up to the point of the box, just to try to clean that up a little bit. We've got all these temporary ends that I put on there that I may have to, well, I don't think we're going to get that far today, but we can tie in all the others. There's only 5 of those. We can tie in the rest of them. And I went ahead and bought some more breakers right here. So this is my power looped in there. You can see my ground. I've already got it on the bar back there. And then all the rest of these, they will tie in here. But I bought, this is a main breaker right here. Here is a 30 amp. I've got, I think it's 4 20s and then the rest are 15s. And I don't even know if I'm going to need those, because my gas, or the range right here, works off of propane. The only thing, it does have a plug on it for a light and to hit the pilot light for the oven. That's the only way that it uses power. Then the refrigerator, it's propane. And the heating stove over there, it's propane. Although the refrigerator does have a plug-in, it will work that way. So I could use that off of here. And the gas hot water heater we have also needs a power source, which I've got it pulled over here. But pretty much everything here is propane. The only thing that I'm going to be using is lights, ceiling fans, computers, and my television. Pretty much, because I don't have a microwave or any of that stuff. I got rid of all of that when I moved out here because I wanted to reduce everything to minimum. And so I'll show you my toaster. This right here is my toaster. I just set it on one of the eyes and set the light bread right there on the side. The heat comes up through the bottom and toasts the bread. You might say, well, that's a little extreme, but no, it's not. It's just like camping. Only I camp every day out here. But I don't have that appliance that I have to plug in. And the microwave, you know, if I want something heated up, I just throw it on the stove and heat it up, you know, like we did back in the old days. But yeah, I tried to make my life simple, you know, or simpler than it was before. You can see that I've got one baseboard that I put on here because I didn't want to be moving the stove back and forth, so we went ahead and put one on right here. So all of that material that's sitting out there on the front porch, I'm going to have to take it down to the sawmill, saw one side off so that the other side is live edge. That's the portion that's going to point up because I've got to do the inside of the cabin. And that will allow me to be able to work during the winter if it's a really nasty day. But that's something that I've got to do. So yeah, I've got quite a bit that's going to have to be done throughout the winter in here, like those baseboards. I do have to finish the bathroom in there, but once that's complete and all the receptacles and all the light switches have to be done, and then I need curtains to hang up here for these cabinets so that I don't have to look at the food stacked up in there, and that will pretty much have the cabin almost complete. And then this area that I've been working in over here by this power panel, the washing machine will sit right underneath that. I'll probably at some point get a small chest freezer that will go right here. And then the hot water heater will mount on the wall. It's an on-demand hot water heater. It's probably about that big. It will go in right there, and I've already got a line underneath the floor to come up through that will have propane to service that, and then I've got a plug right down below that right here that will service the panel. Well, friends, I've been hearing trucks down here all day today, so I think what they're doing is delivering some rock so that they can pour Jennifer's garage and her porch. So we'll walk down here and we'll check it out and find out. Well, I was right. You can see behind me here is one, and then there's the other one behind me right there. So what they've got to do is they've got to fill this up with rock before they can pour a slab of concrete on top. And they have to do the same thing with the garage, because if they don't, it will end up cracking on them at some point in time if they just use dirt under there, because the dirt settles. They'll put the rock in there and then they'll pack it down and then they'll pour the slab on top of that. But nothing has actually been done to her place in about 3 to 4 weeks, so that's the reason I haven't given y'all any update. But I think that they're going to start on it next week, so you'll be seeing a whole lot more. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but we got most of this wired in here. I've got one wire left to go. I've got to go buy another breaker to go right there. And then these 5 right here are the only ones that are left, and I've got enough breakers for those right there, and we will have everything tied in. Then I can go ahead and put the sheetrock and the cover back on this, identify them all, label them, and we'll be in business. Last night on the telephone, my son and I were talking. We forgot all about the outlets that I put up top, because originally we were going to light the cabin with sconces, which we're still going to do that. I've just been using the lights that are on the ceiling fans. But I'm going to have 20 of those. Now, back when, I think we got a video where we, yeah, matter of fact, I'll look that up and leave a link towards the end where we actually made some of the sconces up so that you'll know what they look like. But they're made out of black pipe, and then they just have a light sitting on the top of them. But anyway, I've got, at the time that we bought the material, we were able to get all the electrical part, but they didn't have enough black iron pieces. So we've got enough to make up 4, so I need 16 more. As soon as we get that material, I will have to wire up the sconces that go on the wall. along with all the receptacles as well. I have outlets like this in every room. This is where they're going to go. So this is what they look like. This is all black pipe right here, just simple wiring and a simple LED bulb. But I think what I'm going to do is, out of the ones we've already got made up, take the bulbs back out and paint all of this black, because if there's any humidity, in the air, these tend to rust. So we don't want to see that. So yeah, I think just taking that out, painting it black, and then picture a board made like this that will go over each one of those, probably about like that. Okay, we'll go behind each one of these against the wall right here to match this right here. I think that'll look really good. So as we continue our wiring in the receptacles and the wall switches, we will be putting these on. I'm working on the front switch because I happen to have two of these. So what I did was I tied all my grounds together back here, because I've got two switches, right? Tied all my neutrals together, and I extended with two pigtails on my black feed right here, so that I have one for each one of these. And then I've already tied the one going to the light, and then this one right here is also going to the light, and we're fixing to wire this switch up. Alright guys, since I don't have power, I can actually go ahead and start doing this. What I want to do is orient these wires. When they come in here, they actually go clockwise. Alright, so I will turn this in that direction, because it keeps them from slipping off of the screws once you tighten it down. If I can get that pulled together right there, there we go. Just like that. Okay, I got that one on. Alright, there we go. Now, I already tested these, so there is no continuity between the top and the bottom when they're down. When you flip them up, then you have continuity, which goes up to your light. So what we're going to do is take all of this stuff and stuff it back in the box there. Get that back in there somewhere. I think that looks pretty good up there. And it's nice to actually be getting these in finally, because I've been a long time with these bare holes sticking out there working on other projects. So this is going to be really nice. Yeah, I think that looks really nice right there. This one right here is the one that goes to the outside, and then this one right here goes to the inside light, and up here is where these sconces will go. A while back I had installed one in the kitchen just to see what these plates would look like. I still need to put the trim in here, but yeah, I think that's really going to look good. Well friends, I heard machinery down here all day today, so we're going to run down here to Jennifer's real quick. I think what they were doing is down here spreading that gravel, so we'll run down here and check. Well, it looks like that's what they did. They've got that all ready to pour concrete, and then over here at her garage they have got that ready to pour concrete as well. So next week we can get that concrete in there, then they're going to start up with the floor joists, I think, and the walls and the roof and everything else. Anyway, that's the latest going on here at Homestead number 2. Well, we're getting ready to go outside and work on some grounding that I have left to do. And of course, every day when I tie my shoes, I get help right here. He can't wait till I get them on and get outside. See? Am I tying my shoes? Yes, I'm tying my shoes, aren't I? Anyway, it's about 40 degrees out there. I think the low was right at 32, 33, so it did get down to like freezing last night. Anyway, you ready to go outside? Are you ready to go outside? You want to go feed the chickens? Alright, here we go. This ground right here I didn't have the other day, and I got another one. My friend gave it to me. So I need to get this thing tightened up before I forget it and get it covered up. All right. Well, now I have to go get some ground wire and some of those little clips for that back solar array because I haven't done it yet. Okay. And right here they are. Here's my ground wire. This here is another one my friend gave me, so like I said, we need to get these done before I forget about them and leave them undone. But the cool thing about the way I designed this is I've got a ground on both ends, so if one side came loose, I've still got a ground. Now we get this tightened up. Alright. Right here at this joint, I'm going to double these up so my chances are less on it pulling out. If they've got any crooks or bends in them, sometimes they're difficult to get on there. I'm letting the screws out, but I don't want them to fall out. And there's two. I'm going to put 4 on this end, and then I'll go to the other end and kind of shove them back this way. Get this one connected in there. We're going to have most of them done. Well, you can tell that these screws are really tiny. I don't know if I'll get them all done today because my fingers are cold. But I have to get my wrench back there and tighten that up. You see, these have to be offset right here. Then we'll take the smaller screwdriver and we'll actually set the screw in there to hold the ground wire tight. There we go. And see, it's continuous all the way down. All right, what I'm going to do is kind of measure it right here like that. I'm going to give it a bend. Then I'll give it another bend right here up. And I have to straighten this back out. There's one. And the other one goes over here. And then that will bend up that way. And then we'll pull them apart a little bit. We'll get the screw in there like that. Then the other difficult thing is getting this on the back side with cold fingers. Sometimes it helps to start them with a screwdriver. Yeah, we got it. And I think we got that one in there too, thank goodness. I think we got her. See if we can get this other side right here. I'll tell you what, friends, it is cold out here, for sure. Get this screw out here. Yeah, that's the hardest thing, having cold fingers. Do these little tiny screws. Get this last one put on. Then we'll tighten her down. Okie doke. You gotta be careful. Don't hit those fingers when they're cold. And we'll put one more there for good measure. One of my dog's favorite tricks, or I should say fun time, is he likes to sit up there on the hill and he'll drop the ball and let it roll down here, and then he expects me to go chase it and throw it to him. Oh, he's so funny. Alright, we are working on our last bond right here. That's exciting. I like to double up on all of my corners. There we go. How about that, folks? Now you can see I've got one continuous ground that is bonded on both ends. Well, friends, I'm getting closer little by little, so stay tuned because I promise I will get there. Thanks so much for stopping by. We certainly do appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.